Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co, and this is going to be a bit of a mini review for Magic Rabbit from Alley Cat Games. I say mini review because this game literally plays in 2.5 minutes, as evidenced by the 2.5 minute timer. What you're going to do in this game is you're going to take these rabbits over here, and they have this numbers 1 through 9, and we're going to shuffle them up over here, and then we're going to put a little line of rabbits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have our 9 rabbits over here, good enough to go, and then we have a magician over here because that's the goal over here. We're going to take our hats over here. The hats over here also have numbers 1 through 9. These we're going to put face up, shuffle them up again, and we're going to put them face up like so. Now I'm going to set up as if it's a 3-player game, but there are slight variations on the pigeons you will put out depending on the player count. In a 3-player game, we're going to do that, putting some pigeons out over there. Now we have our pigeons and we have our goal. The goal here is within 2.5 minutes. You know what? Actually, let's go ahead and play it solo. I don't know the exact pigeon configuration for solo. Let me double check this over here. Pigeon configuration for solo is going to be another pigeon over there and another pigeon over here. There we go. We got our pigeons in play, and now we have our goal. Our goal is within 2.5 minutes over here to get the 1 through 9 in order, with specifically the right rabbits under the right hats and the hats all over there. You can take a few actions on your turn. You can lift up a stack to go ahead and look to see what's underneath it. You can also swap a hat from another hat, and you can swap a stack for another stack, and you can move pigeons around, but you cannot alter stacks that have pigeons on them. Ready? Set. We're going to go ahead and go, and boom. So let's see what's underneath the 1. We have a 2 underneath the 1. That means we're going to go ahead and cycle up the 1 over there. We're going to see what's underneath the 1 over there. We got a 6 underneath the 1, so we are making progress on seeing what's under these. We have a 9 under there, and we have a 4 under there. So right now we're going to put the 2 over on the 6. We're going to see we have a 9 over here. Nope, we had a 9. Where's the 9? Darn it. We have the 9 over there, so we're going to swap the 9 and the 1. We're going to go ahead and look under the 1. We have a 3 over there, so we can swap the 3 and the 1. We got that. We got the 3 under there. We're going to swap the 2 and the 3. We can also move the pigeons over here because those pigeons are now on those officially. We have a 4 over here along with a 7. So we're going to take the 1 and, what's underneath the 1? We have a 4. So we're going to swap the 1 and the 4. The 4 should probably go swap to where the 6 is. We're going to move the pigeon over there. We're going to take a look what's underneath the 5. It's a 5. Beautiful. We're going to move another pigeon over here. We're going to take the 6 underneath the 6. We're going to move our last pigeon over here. This is probably a 1. Nope, it's an 8. So we can swap the 8 and the 9. Nope, we can't do that. We need to swap the 7 and the 9, but underneath the 7 is probably the 1. So swap the 7 and the 1. We're going to swap the 1 and the 7. We're going to swap the 9 over here. We're going to look over here, swap them, and boom, there we go. Bob's your uncle. We got like a minute and a half left. That is how you play the game. Okay? That's basically it. Now, the game does get a little harder if you're playing with multiple players because I can figure out all the information on my end. Now, granted, you do have 2 less pigeons in play, and it is variable based on the player count, but you're going to remove some pigeons from the game, but you are going to have the same basic setup and goals while playing with multiple players, but you cannot talk to each other. That's the catch. You cannot talk to each other. So player 1 goes ahead and looks over here and they see there's a 3 underneath here, but other players don't necessarily know that. And so you have to try to go through this little bit of a puzzle of not wasting time taking the same actions. If you just look at what's underneath the 3, I should trust to an extent that you know what's up and you will take care of that. So I'll look somewhere else. Maybe you swap the 3 with something else and you're like, ooh, maybe that's where the 3 is. And you're trying to piece together the information together when you have multiple players going together. That's the basic idea. You have a little bit of a cooperative puzzle. You have 2.5 minutes that we are still running through over here, and your goal is to put together all those numbers, but wait, there's more. You see, once you're done over there, you're going to start going through some of these envelopes in the game. There's going to be envelopes over here. We have envelopes 1, 2, and 3-star envelopes, each of which are going to have 4 challenges in those envelopes. Well, sort of. The 3rd-star one, well, sort of. We have 4 challenges in each envelope, and those challenges are going to give you different rules configurations of ways to make the challenge more, well, challenging. You start by doing the basic puzzle, and once you win, you can go ahead and open up the 1 stars. When you've completed all the 1 stars, you go ahead and open up the 2 stars. When you complete all the 2 stars, you open up the 3 stars, or you're just a wild card, and you go ahead and open them up in whatever order you want, but there are fun little puzzles going on here. Now, I'm not going to try to ruin it for you because, well, that's just not fun, but there are challenges that are going to make the game more difficult. There's going to be rules adjustments to what you do, to how you operate when you look at a stack, to the various configurations or extra tokens or things that will be in play that make the puzzle you're going for trickier than otherwise. I'm kind of tempted to spoil them for you, but I'm not going to because it's fun to explore and discover them on your own. But if you like the basic puzzle here, there's basically 12 different challenges that will make 11 different challenges that will mix and match things for you at varying levels of difficulty. The 12th challenge, in this part I will minorly spoil, the 12th challenge is effectively a grid where you combine multiple challenges together. So the 12th challenge is no longer saying, here's challenge number 12. It's saying, hey, you know all those challenges you had until now? Do this and that, this and that, this and this, pair them up in different ways to go ahead and proceed with trying to figure out even more crazy ways to make this experience harder for you. And that is basically Magic Rabbit over here, which means it's time for the review. Starting off, this is a 1 to 4 player game. I may have missed that. Starting off with ease of play, I mean, this game teaches in a few minutes. You can run through a quick demo doing it yourself, spend like 30 seconds doing that, then get people up and running as you reset and start the process. The amount of time the game takes is perfect. It's a 2.5 minute game. You don't have a choice. It's 2.5 minutes, win or lose. You see what happens at the timer, you try to get things done, and the iteration and complexity and challenge in a very charming cooperative game make this just exactly that. It's a charming cooperative game. It's a short, accessible, easy to teach puzzle of trying to work together without communicating that lends itself nicely to the long line of games that have you communicating, have you working together without communicating as you try to solve a puzzle. The pigeons are a great addition. They really get in the way and mix things up, and even at different player counts, if you're playing a 3-player game and you're finding it too easy, great, go ahead and throw in more pigeons. You can always modify it through challenges or through more pigeons, and there's ways to make it easier for younger kids as well. You want to make the challenge slightly easier for young kids? Well, then get rid of the 8s, 9s, and 7s and experience with the right amount of numbers that is the right complexity challenge. Do the 1 through 6 with no pigeons, start with that until they get it, and then iterate and add. So the game easily modifies to make it easier or harder or whatever you need as you go through it. Now, as far as what I don't like in the game, the experience is only as good as the experience of Magic Rabbit is only as good as the players you're playing with. If you're playing with people who don't understand what's happening, if they don't understand the degree of teamwork, if you picked up the 4 to look what's underneath it, and they consistently follow by picking up the 4 to look what's underneath it, if players aren't in sync, the experience won't work for you. And so it is inherently a player-dependent game, because it is about trying to silently communicate, to pick up on what your teammates are putting down, to understand and trust your teammates to do their job. And if you have players who aren't doing that, the experience will just feel like it should have and could have just been a solo game for you. As far as I can see others not liking, first of all, there's limited evolution to the gameplay past the envelopes that go through. Meaning the game is basically a little 2.5 minute puzzle. It doesn't really change much. There's only so much you can really do in 2.5 minutes. There's a bunch of challenges. They freshen up the experience, but it's still a 2.5 minute long game. And then secondly, there's memory and tracking in this game. There's memory in the sense that you have to actually remember what's underneath things, but then there's tracking because you might remember that the 4 was underneath on top of the 7, but then when you swap the 4 for the 3, it basically feels like playing a little bit of a shell game. It feels like a cooperative version of a shell game where you're trying to work together to track what happened as you swap things around while hoping your teammates can still track what's going on. And if you don't like memory, if you don't like that hand-eye coordination and the tracking in this puzzle, this game may not be for you. And then lastly, it is real-time. Granted, only 2.5 minutes of real-time, but if you don't like a real-time puzzle, this still is a real-time puzzle, just one that's very short at 2.5 minutes. As far as final thoughts on Magic Rabbit, I was very charmed by this one. This is one that I wasn't expecting anything from it, but it really did a very good job. I mean, again, it's a 2.5 minute game. It literally says it on the box over here, 2.5 minutes, because what else are you supposed to say? But it was a charming little game that surprised me, and it's not going to blow your socks off. There's only so much a game of this, package and what it's doing can do. But for what it does well. If you're looking for a charming 2.5 minute long cooperative experience that will give you that degree of teamwork, if you want a team building experience for your work first, just pick up a few copies of these, set people up in teams of 4, and have them go at it as they go through a variety of challenges. There's a lot you can do in this surprisingly small box. Overall, for me, this is a 3.5 out of 5. There's only so much it can actually do, but what it does well, and it is very charming, and I did very much enjoy playing through Magic Rabbit. As far as other game recommendations, first of all, Cloaked Cats. If you're looking for a more competitive experience that felt fairly similar while being very different, I think Cloaked Cats from Habbo is a very good experience. And if you're looking to slightly up the ante of your cooperative but no communication experience, Magic Maze from Sit Down Games is always a delightfully fun time. In any case, and until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.